All right, so England take on Jamaica in their final match before the Euros on Sunday at the King Power Stadium in Leicester. It will be England's first ever meeting against the Reggae Girls. It kind of feels like one of those games that I didn't know I needed. It's my two cultural heritages kind of clashing in the weeks before the Euros in Leicester. I am actually going to the game and I can't wait. I've heard so many people talking about actually going to the game. It's obviously the Lionesses sort of send-off game. Everyone's super excited to see, who's going to be playing, how Serena's going to use this game going into the tournament, what kind of formations and starting 11 she's going to be trying out. So, yeah, I think it's going to be a big one. 32,000 people at the King Power. I don't think it's a sellout just yet, but I'm expecting a pretty decent crowd, to be fair.
It's also weird because you're going to be there and I'm not. So
what?
I know, so strange. I'm so excited for England to play someone new, England to play Jamaica. They were so fun to watch at the 2023 World Cup, and of course made headlines by progressing after they knocked out Brazil, beating them in the group stages and getting out of the group stages for the first time. So there's been some up and downs in that squad, but I think they're going to provide a real stern test. We haven't really been able to get our hands on the team yet, but still there's quite a few names that I'm sure people will be aware of. Alison and Chantel Swaby are both featuring the WSL for Palace and Leicester respectively. I don't think Drew Spence and Becky Spencer were called up in the previous squad, but they are ones to look out for sure they get brought up. Atlanta Primus, Shania Hales obviously in good goal scoring form, second in the goal scoring charts in the championship. So I think they'll be a tough team to break down for England, and they do have some instinctive goal scorers, and I think actually challenging themselves against a team they've never played before is such a good preparation for the Euros, because it's not, they played France, they've played the Netherlands, countless times, and I think the Nations League has already shown that things can get a little bit boring if they're playing the same teams over and over. I think at least 3 of the groups have teams in it that were in the same groups in the Nations League. Switzerland, Norway, Iceland, all in the same group in the Nations League. Spain and Portugal, same group in the Nations League. You've got Sweden and Denmark, same group in the you're just seeing the same fixtures over and over. So relish this one. I think it's going to be a really fun one, and a really good challenge ahead of a major tournament, because it's going to provide challenges that potentially they haven't faced before, given they haven't faced the team before.
Yeah, 100%. I couldn't agree more. I think, every competition, no matter how much you prep and how much, no matter how much sort of preparation you have on certain teams and how they're going to set up and who are the key players to watch, you're always going to be throwing curveballs. You're always going to be stuck in situations where you don't quite know how to navigate. And I think this is what this game will actually face. And I think also sort of the crowd perspective as well, like the Reggae Girls and the fan base that they have with the steel drums and things like that. I think that's going to provide a different kind of atmosphere as well. I think there's going to be a lot of people there who will be sort of cheering the Lionesses on, sort of like wanting this to be the sort of the positive send-off that we all want to kind of and feel positively going into the tournament. I mean, if this doesn't go to plan, God forbid, I can't keep touching this desk, but if it doesn't go to plan, I think there's going to be a lot of nervous faces, a lot of nervous people. Go on,
if
mate.
It doesn't go to plan, it's quite common.
Don't panic.
No, but it's quite common ahead of major tournaments where England have kind of fumbled the ball a little bit. I think they did it against New Zealand. I think they did it against Sweden. They did it against Canada, I think. It's happened. You remember before the last World Cup, they lost to Australia. That unbeaten run was the 30-something game unbeaten run in the April window. They lost to Australia. And what happened? They got to a World Cup final. So that's all I'll say. I've got the reasonable head. Don't panic if things don't go to plan.
Okay, thank you. You're always the cool, calm, level head that we need on this pod. So thank you very much for that.